Hello and welcome to the D Hoop University podcast. This is your host, Darrell Harris, also known as D Hoopster. We have a new voice on the pod today. We have Shiv on the pod today. We have international basketball on the pod today. And at the top, because we are coming off of the NBA Finals, the draft is not far away at all. Free agency's not far away at all. But this is a unique summer in which we also have the FIBA World Cup. And that is going to take precedent as the tournament nears. But I kind of want to talk about it now because the international element in the room has to be discussed in the NBA. So the three of us had a good talk about that. And from there on, no front office is safe because we started talking about a lot of hypothetical scenarios that could play out in a few short weeks. So, and I do have an obligatory Golden Knights shout out. So, hockey fans, I got you guys for about 90 seconds. Trust and believe. As always, guys, thank you for listening. Enjoy the pod. Without further ado, let's talk some hoops. We are getting ready for a good one, that's for sure. And just so we get this on record, and that way ears catch this part, it's right off the top. I just have to shout out the Golden Knights on winning the Stanley Cup because it's dominated kind of what my work life has been about for the last couple of weeks. The entire city would, agree with me that it's been pretty dope. I just kind of want to share why it's dope, and there's like one funny sports number, and there's always those stories. But the Golden Knights, they debuted right after the 1 October shooting happened. Their first game was literally less than 10 days after the shooting took place. That season, they had a miracle run, made it to the Stanley Cup final, lost in five. The mayor still wanted to have a parade because they thought that it meant so much. And everybody was like, no, you don't do that in sports. But it was meaningful. And they've been like Vegas's first son, is what Terrell said. Like, it's their first kid.
Nice.
And there's an attachment here with the city. And they won tonight. And they they broke a record for attendance. And it was a number that had significance. And I won't even take it all the way there because I just did it in news, so it was cool. But I wanted to shout them out, man. It's been dope. I've been happy to be a part of it or just witness it take place. And we don't talk hockey a whole lot, but hey, I got one ring. I feel like I'm claiming that ring. The Lakers let us down, but I'm claiming that one. Shout out the Golden Knights. All right, that's on record. Now we have a nice introduction to class. Somebody is popping their head in class today, and he's a good friend of mine. He is a guy that I've shared courts with. I didn't give this man so many fadeaway jumpers, and I'm just joking.
It's
Jacob,
not
what's
the
good,
cat,
bro?
bro.
What's
What's
good,
good,
dog?
bro?
I
Appreciate you
don't know,
having me
man.
on D Hoop University, man.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Your
Thank
presence
you.
is welcome, and your contributions are appreciated. Let's get right into it, man. I feel like we never got a chance to talk about the finals,
You did.
the results of the finals, that is, on here. And we can do that, but I kind of want to go somewhere else first. And it involves one Nikola Jokic. And we got Shiv here too. Let me let you talk to him for a little bit, Shiv. Where are you
Uh,
feeling today
I
in
feel
the
like it's been
NBA
a minute.
landscape?
I feel like it's been a minute since we recorded, but you know me, I'm happy the Nuggets won, obviously. Um, Jimmy's 0-2 in the finals. I slept beautifully, knowing that they got lucky in game seven and they got wiped in
I think
five. So
I think the last time we heard your voice, you told everybody Nuggets in five.
I did say Nuggets in five, and it
Yeah.
happened. It happened the way the exact way I predicted it
As
because
as did Drake.
yeah, he wagered a couple bucks on it. He wagered
Allegedly.
the monthly rent on it through
Yeah.
stake, obviously. He's a man who seeks thrills. The thrills in the Sunday afternoon NBA games.
Now I'll throw this question at both of you guys. Who's your because I Shiv, I know you watch a lot more Marvel than I do. who are you guys' favorite villains in comics? If you have one. I don't really have one. I have one for the sake of that's why this question came to me. So I'm like, let's see. Like, who's your favorite villain?
I mean, Thanos, like the way Josh Brolin like embodied Thanos was pretty crazy. Like it
Thanos
was
is a
it,
good
it was
one.
all time. It was all time.
Thanos is him.
Heath Ledger's Joker is also up there, all time Bane, Tom Hardy, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty all time too. Um, I liked Zod, but nobody likes Man of Steel, and I have issues with that. But that's for a separate time. Zod from Man of
Okay.
Steel, also fire, also
Okay.
great like moral backing to his like qualms and aggression with the world.
Okay.
I'm gonna go
Very
with
good.
those three. I don't know how I rank them, or those four. I'm gonna go with those four.
It's a good list.
It's a comprehensive list for a guy who's
To
watched
be
like
honest,
every
man,
Marvel DC movie.
I'm running with Shiv on this one. I thought Thanos for Marvel, but if it's overall and DC, then for me it's easily Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight.
That's a great
Yeah.
pick.
Like as a Joker, he's like
I
that's
was
like that's like the villain, you know?
that is the
Yeah.
villain.
I'll interject because that was the answer I was hoping to get. That's my answer, but I'm like literally like level 1.5, like superhero comic guy. I like the movies, I do, but so I'm a casual. I'm a super casual,
Casual.
but I'm a yay whatever. So I say Jokic. I say that to say that who is what is Jokic's nickname? The Joker. And I think that a lot of people are late to the party of giving him his credit right now.
Me.
And it's cool that he earned that. You know, as a great player, you want that recognition, but you don't need that. But it's nice when it's all right, like, yo, I'm gonna make everybody notice it. And I think that very soon he could turn into the top villain in the NBA. Because for one, all villains have in common, you respect them. You respect what they're capable of.
Yeah.
They're 100% nice. Like, if they weren't, like, it wouldn't be, serious competition or whatever. And the Joker comparison, I don't have the skills to flesh out. I just made a surface level connection to it that, yo, he really could be a villain. And right now he's getting his flowers that, like I said, he earned. Fast forward a month or two from now, and international play is going to ramp up.
Yeah.
We talked about already before we even got on here about how he said he lost the finals MVP trophy. And I see that report and you see him dropping half shaking the bottle in the locker room. You see him in the post conference. I'm watching the freaking team like, yo, is somebody going to cry? Like, yo, it's like, and you see this report now and I'm like, he doesn't care about the NBA. He loves basketball and he this is his job. Like, he loves this. But I am now confident that he is more like focused on his championship and MVP trophy that he would care about is a gold medal over Team
And his
USA.
horses.
And his horses.
Maybe some
Yeah.
equestrian. I don't know. But I think
bro.
that we have a FIBA World Cup this summer. Let us not take that serious enough. There's several countries out there waiting for us.
100%.
Several. And I kind of want to talk there more before we get back into the finals because, guys, if Jokic takes over, I think that is possible. And he's yet to be figured out is where we stand currently in the landscape.
Right.
And it could play out on an international scale like we've seen before.
I will say this. FIBA is so different is the paint bigger in FIBA or is it just a visual thing? Because doesn't it feel like the paint kind of
No,
funnels,
it is. Yeah, it is wider.
right?
And
And
there's
you can hit
not
the
the
ball off the
same.
rim.
There's not quite the same 3-second rule, lane violation.
Right.
There's
Goaltending is allowed too, right?
yeah.
Right. So I
So
feel like if for the first time in a
Pace of
long
the game is
time,
different. Officiating is different.
it's completely different. It feels a little more
physicality.
physical almost,
Yeah.
honestly. Um, I feel like the world kind of smells blood in the water a little bit because when you look at the roster, it could you even make the case that we have no stars on the roster outside of like Anthony Edwards? And even then, like you could make the case that Anthony Edwards isn't a star yet.
I'll share the current roster that's announced as of
Don't let
today.
Wally Serbiak see that Tyrese Halliburton's on the roster, by the way. If you know, you know.
As of now, confirmed, we have
Man, it's crazy, man.
Anthony Edwards, Bobby Portis.
Oh.
Bobby Portis.
I'm just going left to right.
The mayor.
Tyrese Halliburton, Mikal Bridges, Jaren Jackson, Brandon Ingram,
Dude.
and Austin Reeves.
Oh.
Yeah.
And as of today, Walker Kessler. That is 8 bodies.
Dude, Gobert is
was
about
kinda
to look
butt.
like Wilt Chamberlain out there. I swear to God. Gobert's about to earn the contract.
To be honest, though, Anthony Edwards, I think he's a star, bro. Just my opinion. I think he's
Yeah.
up there. I think he's like so fun to watch, and he just loves basketball, regardless of the money and stuff.
Right.
Mikal Bridges is nice, and Brandon Ingram. I think those three are like some star power there. But the other ones, like Walker Kessler, Jaren Jackson, who was the other person that you named earlier?
For me, Halliburton and Bridges are perfect fits. I love that for Team USA. They're in between guys that just really understand basketball and team players. Like they can figure out lineups. And then when you just add that, because I agree with you about Anthony Edwards, we all agree on that.
Right.
That brother's special. He has Vince Carter potential in this World Games to just put somebody in the ground. You know what I mean? And Ingram is a bucket. You're getting no flack from me. Reeves is a player. Hey, I went to bat for Reeves this whole postseason, and he's
Nice.
scrappy. He's a guy. But there's a lot of guys in it. The landscape is very competitive internationally. Canada, for one, has mad players. We can talk about France. We can talk about Australia. We can talk about Serbia. We could talk about Greece.
And so like all of those countries,
Slovenia.
So like all of these countries have like a guy though. You know what I mean? They have like a certified guy.
A star.
Like we don't
A
have
superstar.
And so we talked about Tatum over text, right? And my gut feeling is that he's not going to play. And I think it's because of the ankle. Like I think he's going to be super cautious about it.
Did you think he was going to?
If he didn't get hurt, and let's say they either won or lost in the finals, probably.
Has he played with Team USA already? We're gonna have to fact check that.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
With KD and the whole squad. Yeah.
Right.
I think
right.
they have a gold medal.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. All right. He would have had to
last
answer.
year.
I feel like he would have had to answer the call. And since the pandemic, honestly, it kind of threw my whole. I can't even remember. Like I remember 08 like it's nothing, 12 like it's nothing.
They played France, right?
Still, but I can barely. Yeah, they did. They got the gold. The Olympic team got the gold. They kind of got saved by, what was it? Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, fresh off the plane,
Fresh off the championship.
and that was a weirdly constructed team, but it still had star power, like you said. It had Damian Lillard,
KD, Booker,
those guys, and I don't think KD was on that team.
KD was on the team.
Yeah, he was. He was.
Just recently?
Most recently he was. I don't know about 6.
Was he really? I take it back. But yeah, no. We had guys.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe shout out to Ryan, because I had my guy Ryan. We had a long conversation about this, but he mentioned how he was like, I think this could be a strategy. And because if we go out there and potentially like, hey, get our butts handed to us, even just get silver or something like that, that can be a wake-up call that, hey, yeah, for when the Olympics come around, we still need you guys. Like, we can't lose this collectively. And we need to be all in on, like, some Team USA shit for real. Like,
yeah.
So, I don't know, man. I think, because, yeah, it's possible. Jokic, dude, is incredible. I think we all are aware of that now. And
it is a weirdly constructed roster. It's Pop that's coaching this team, right? It's not Coach K anymore.
Right.
Whatever. What
is it actually Yeah, that's right. Let me fact check that as well.
And I feel like Pop might be is Pop retiring soon? I don't know, but
He
like
will be.
I know there were some rumors like Steve Kerr could be the next
Yeah,
guy in line.
Yeah.
that's what.
It's a weirdly constructed roster, man. I don't know, like I like these guys as like pieces on a team with like a guy that's like a dominant guy, but I don't know, like
Yeah,
I
it's
guess it
Kerr.
serves as a good opportunity for
It's
one of
Kerr
these guys
now.
like Anthony Edwards or a Tyrese Halliburton or like to an extreme sense like a Jaren Jackson Jr. to like really step in and like prove that they're a guy.
Yeah,
But
no, they're great. It's
it's
great.
gonna
It's
be
great
tough.
opportunity for them to get that exposure and you know see what it takes and add that to their game and come back better because of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think this team sounds like it has a lot more defensive upside though, when you think about it and who they have. So I don't know what Pop is going for, if he's going for that strict, like, just pass, pass,
It,
pass away system. But
it'll be Steve Kerr.
It'll be Steve
hmm,
Kerr coaching.
Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting. Interesting.
I think Mike Cal's a glue guy for this team for sure. And like you said, Jake, you get some defensive. You can put some defensive lineups out there. You can because
Yeah.
Halliburton plays passing lanes terrific. Bridges is like he'll take the toughest assignment. He'll be active off the ball. I've always felt like you see that guy and he's smiling, like high fiving his teammates, and like they're having a good time because they're like, "Let's go!" Like we're right where we want to be. And Jaren Jackson, the pain if he can stay out of foul trouble.
bro, I
But
can't stand Jaren Jackson, bro. I'm sorry.
Me neither. Me
Give
neither.
me some blocks though. Ford just stats a little bit, add a couple every night that he didn't have. But
yeah,
overall, I just kind of want to say this real quick, bro. I think, and we touched on it, but I actually talked to you about this before, like years ago, right? We were talking about Kevin Love. You're telling me like, bro, he's just really good at basketball. Like he's not athletic, he's not great, but he's just really good at basketball. And I think the rest of the world is just getting really good at basketball rapidly. And the US is kind of staying stagnant, whether it's the AAU system or whatever it is. And Jokic, Wembanyama, Luka Doncic, like whoever you want to add, like they're producing real studs because these players are like just really good at the basics and fundamentals and they're growing and growing and growing. And we're just kind of doing the same stuff over and over again. So it's about time that we lose. And who knows if this is the year we lose, but it's coming for sure.
Yeah, it certainly feels that way. And that's actually a really good point. I was talking to somebody this past weekend actually about soccer and why like the gap between like American soccer and like European soccer is so large. And they were like, it's the infrastructure from like youth soccer onwards. One, it's super expensive, right? AAU is not cheap either, unless you're like a stud when you're growing up. And then you kind of get, you'll get the, hey, just I got a jersey for you, come play real quick. But like if you were like a guy like me, like, no, you were paying it a few grand to play AAU, right? Like you weren't getting minutes, like all that stuff. So it's like it's not exact. It is while it is like a little more prevalent and cheaper to get to those higher competitive levels in America, at least, you have to be willing to flesh out a little more money. And two, it just feels like the AAU game is so like it's like it just feels like it's like a viral
it's
internet
muddy.
grab at
It's
this
real
point.
muddy right now. I feel you.
It's weird. Like I'll be on Twitter and it's like, look at the hottest third grade team in the nation. And it's like, why am I seeing 12-year-old basketball highlights on Twitter? Like when we were growing up, it was like if you got a mixtape, like you were a legend. Like Seventh
Yeah,
Woods, what happened to that guy? He didn't even pan out. But like
man.
his mixtape is so imprinted as like a core memory almost. So it's like, I don't know. AAU system's kind of weird because it feels like it just produces these like volume shooter scorer guys.
Well, we have to give credit to the international players.
Yeah, definitely.
They brought the swag kind of
Even
looking
more so the
at
coaches there too, right? Those guys are teaching them the right things.
yeah, they brought their fair share of creativity to the game and or to the NBA rather, and the NBA is more leaning into that style, but you can't. It's like playing up and down with the Warriors. You don't really like if this is our and it's just interesting because yeah, you look at these guys. Yeah, you're subtracting. If you look at Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Giannis, add Wembanyama to this list in a couple years, and you know, there's more to it, but those are some of the game's best players, very best players. And then what's funny is you look at it, it's like, where are our bigs at? Like, what are our bigs doing? This might pivot us to the NBA Finals because I don't know what kind of conversation we're going to have about Bam Adebayo because I'm gonna keep respect on his name, but it, and that's just from a big conversation that's why I said that. But you look at you know, our homegrown bigs, and maybe Chet Holmgren's kind of that mold, but it's not there yet. That's in the works. That's got a lot. It's got a lot of cooking to do still. We it's like, yo, thank God we got guys like Booker and freaking, the Jaws and the Zions, which we're going to talk about before we get out of here. But
yeah,
it's like, oh man, we might need to have a dialogue. We're going to wait, but I wanted to have this conversation before, before that all ramps up, because just looking ahead. But let's go back to the finals, because I mentioned how, Shiv, I know you've got feelings on it. I'm not gonna hold you back on what you want to say about Miami. But just before you bury Miami, I would just have to say, like, don't forget they're there because they took advantage of Boston. Jacob,
I
I'm
don't know.
curious.
Did they take advantage of Boston, or did they just like sell their soul? Like, honestly, I don't know. I actually do not know, because the team that you saw in the finals was so far off from the team that played Boston. It didn't even look like the same team. And I saw a tweet. It was like Jimmy Butler had like 5 good playoff games, and he made y'all forget that he had the most mediocre regular season. If he was that nice, and I'm not saying he's not capable of being that nice, if he was legitimately that nice, why were they not an 8 seed or higher? If they were this good, if Gabe Vincent and Max Strus and Duncan Robinson could just shoot the lights out in whatever gym they walked into, why were they not a better seed? And it's because they weren't that good all season, which is why their run was so magical, because it was like they literally were not supposed to be here. Like Chicago was up like 8 with like 2 minutes to go. Like they literally weren't supposed to be here, but they finessed. It's like when and we talk about this on FaceTime. It's like when you're in college and it's like your junior year and the semester is just beating you down. You're missing a couple assignments. You got to clutch the final up, and you do, and it raises your grade from like a C to a C plus or a B minus. That's kind of like what Miami did. They just kind of took the Adderall and finessed it at the last minute. And it took them far enough until they got up against like the guy that studied for the final and aced 4 out of the 4 tests and turned in all the quizzes and turned in all the homework and did the extra credit. So the guy going into the final has like a 98%. Nothing can really happen to him, right? And so they played well against us. I'm not going to act like they didn't, but at the same time, like I knew that wasn't representative of who they were as a team. Because if they were, they would have shown that throughout the regular season, which is why it made game 7 so frustrating, because it was like you were getting exposed for 3 straight games. You looked exactly like you did in the regular season. And if our best player doesn't get hurt because your smart, hard-nosed Gabe Vincent doesn't try to take a charge on the first play of the game, Tatum plays and he gives you like 45, because that was the game plan, because that's what he was doing in the last 3 games before it was game 7. So congrats, they got there. They can hang their "We Beat Boston" banner. Good luck getting Dame or Kyrie or maybe Ja go into a little mini rebuild, maybe Ja. But yeah, they can hang their banner. They beat us and they got washed by Denver. And if Tatum was hurt, we probably get washed by Denver too. But we're not going down like that. It was 2 different. It was JV versus varsity, bro. It was bad. It was bad. I'm surprised
He's
viewership
still a
was
little
up as
hurt,
a
isn't he,
result.
Jake?
What was that?
He's still a little hurt, isn't he, Jacob?
yeah, bro. I just found out you're a Boston fan. First of all, I did not
Yeah.
expect
I
that.
got the TB12 shirt on right now too. It's kind of crazy.
Okay, okay. I want to say though, bro, I don't think so. I feel like there are some really good regular season teams, but they're not always built for the postseason. In contrast,
Yeah.
right? Like Memphis, not really a postseason team. The Atlanta Hawks from years ago, never really a postseason team, always the first seed in the East. I got to give credit to Miami though, because they came, they beat Milwaukee, not easy. New York was on a good run, beat them too. Boston was on a good run, beat them too. I think the Lakers look terrible against Denver, to say the least. But at the
Right.
same time, I think it's just a testament to how good Denver really was this year. Like they
Yeah.
were just that good that they weren't gonna lose regardless of who they played. And Jimmy Butler had those comments about like, "Oh, we're good." He's smiling when they're losing the game and doing whatever. But they were F, bro. There was no way they were gonna win that series from the
Well,
beginning.
not even to be a hater, but like, did the Bucks not have Giannis?
But I'll tell you what, nobody really watches Denver like that. Like real hoopers
Yeah.
will watch
No, that's
Denver,
fair. That's fair. Yeah,
but
that's a great
but
assessment.
they're not getting the same coverage like
Right.
the Lakers, like
They're
like
not getting the same
Boston,
national
like
TV time.
Philly, like all
Yeah.
these teams. So we kind of just write them on there because they're a great regular season team. So you got to put them in your rankings for like contenders. But
Right.
do you really believe that they're gonna win? Like, not really. So
Yeah.
when they came into the postseason and they were freaking cooking everybody in their way,
Yeah.
you'd be like, oh, Denver's looking pretty good. Denver,
Yeah.
can they beat the Lakers though? Right. And then
Right.
they
Right.
beat the Lakers, get to the finals, and they freaking practically almost sweep Miami.
Yeah, if the refs
It's
didn't
like,
it also it just felt like all series in the finals, like Miami gets a ton of calls. Like in the game that Denver lost, like was that not a goaltend? That was like clear as day goaltend. And then the following possession after the goaltend, Jimmy steps on the baseline and it leads to like a Duncan Robinson three. And it's like, oh,
yeah.
but of course you're not gonna call that, right? Like even though his foot's
Yeah.
the baseline ref is staring at his foot. If you look at the picture, it's crazy. It's like
If we're
Eric Lewis gets flack for betting on Celtics games, but like, bro, we were watching highway robbery in front of us, and the Nuggets still overcame that.
Bro, don't
That's
mention Eric Lewis, man. That guy, oh
that's my
my
boy,
God.
bro. What are you talking about? That's
This
my
guy,
guy.
come on, dog.
That's my guy.
LeBron,
no,
I've
if
never seen
we're
My
LeBron like that in
dog.
my life. Never seen LeBron like that in my life. He up and down on the foot,
yo,
crying.
if we're doing the final 2 minute review, it's not worth the play-by-play of it all to say that Miami was robbed because they were cooked. They were ready. They were ready to be taken out of the oven already.
Yeah.
But they
They were full.
actually, bro, they had that game not won, but they had it under control for one throughout the duration of the game. They kept the lead, and when Denver would nearly tie it up or so, they give themselves another little cushion until the fourth quarter, and you thought Denver kicked the door down. But Miami still held on a little bit. And Jimmy Butler, when Mark Jackson hit the nail with the hammer about what needed to be said about him, like, all right, bro, I get it. You maybe not may not be 100%. I'm not gonna watch you do this though. Like, what's up, bro? Like, you're gonna do something down the stretch, and maybe he heard that because he hit like 2 threes back to back after that. They went down by I think as much as 7, and then before you knew it, they were up again. And it was like, this is what they did to freaking Milwaukee. This is what they did to Boston a couple times, and I was like, I knew they were good for one. This might be happening. Kyle Lowry, I was like, bro, I think we're going to hear from him. Heard from him all game, like making just your traditional
Finally
Kyle
caught
Lowry plays, and then
the chicanery, as I would
down the
describe it.
stretch, he gets robbed because that was one of the cleanest jump balls that you could have asked for as a guard defending a center in the post, and maybe it was an angle thing in the paint, and you can't see clearly from maybe the hard cam that you're seeing on broadcast, which I saw clear as day in real time. I'm like, nope, nope, nope. That is a jump. He didn't foul him. I thought everything in the last 2 minutes were reviewable automatically. It was one of the quicker handoffs to a side inbound. And I was like, wait, what? Because Kyle Lowry immediately went like, yo, we're like running back, did the, replay signal to the bench. And they're like, Kyle, like you're getting like, they got you or whatever. And I'm like, no, that was not a offensive foul, or that was not a defensive foul. And then Denver scores, takes the lead, never gives it up. Game.
So you say you say it might be an angle thing, and to reference my take on the Draymond suspension during the King series, I say it's a reputation thing.
It is more. It probably was.
100%.
It probably was at the time.
Because
They're
more
like, I'm
likely
not
than
giving
not,
him
he's
this one.
flopping. More
He's
likely
like,
than not, he's flopping. If we're gonna be 100, like he's not taking those charges at the age that he is. I know he's got a lot of cushioning in the back, but those add up. Those hits, the wear and tear adds up. So it's like,
No, they went down. The old guys went down swinging. We never got Isaiah on here to address the jury. We're still working on that, but he was off somewhere. Trying to find some solitude somewhere
trying to
else.
find some solitude. That is hilarious.
But no, man, Denver, I feel like they earned the right of the crown going there for a year and getting the chance to defend it. They took care of business, man. Shout out to Jamal Murray. Like I said, I was like, yo, will somebody cry? I saw a baby tear. I saw a chuckle. He had to gather himself before he spoke. I was like, thank you, Jesus. Somebody care? No, I'm just kidding. There's a lot of guys that were due that ring. Shout out to Ish Smith.
Yeah.
Shout out
yeah.
to
Hey,
shout out to DeAndre Jordan.
Jeff
Lob
Green.
City. Shout
Thomas
out to
Bryant.
Jeff Green. You know what I
Celtic,
mean?
baby.
Shout out to those guys. And I want to hear, Jacob, what you think LA should do a little bit. And I want to hear, Shiv, what you kind of want for Boston's offseason too, because we didn't get that yet. But the Lakers were a team that, things, you feel better when you lose to the champion sometimes. But you look back and it's like, if they could have got past those guys, they had a chance. And I'm just curious, Jacob, if you think that the guys should keep it together or they need to swing, and where you lie on that.
I mean, if we're gonna look at what they did at the trade deadline and what they got back, Malik Beasley, so they thought they were filling in a hole for shooting, and then they obviously traded Patrick Beverley for like Mo Bamba to get some size down next to AD. Both of those guys practically like didn't play in the postseason, right? So you got to fill those gaps for sure. You got to bring back. You can't let Dennis. You can't let D'Angelo walk for nothing. You got to use his contract somehow to either retain a piece or just kind of plug him in. But you got to figure out somehow to trade Malik Beasley for like maybe Buddy Hield, just someone that you can rely on to shoot the ball consistently. And you got to get a reliable five because was 80 was getting killed. He had a great series, right, against Denver. We're not going to downplay it, but you can't guard Jokic like consistently, then try to go down in the offensive end and try to do your thing. So you got to get him
Yeah.
somebody that can be a body for sure.
A tag team part. He needs a tag team partner, low key.
He needs a tag team. Rui can't do it. Rui was doing his best on Jokic, but you can't have Rui on him. And CP, he's old, bro. Chris Paul is. But you need someone that's reliable in the postseason. That's like a basketball mind. Can it be Chris Paul? Who knows if he can stay healthy? You just need one smart playmaker to kind of take the pressure off of Braun on ball, couple shooters, and just a body that can kind of like a Dwight, right? Remember the way Dwight played Jokic in the bubble? Just someone that's not willing to do the dirty work and move on. So minor fixes, but crucial late in the postseason. That's what I think.
Don't take a big swing.
On who? Bradley Beal's $50 million contract?
Not a chance.
Game?
There's
not a chance, bro. That contract is a negative for anybody that takes it. But
it's
Washington is a finesser. But they do it so smooth. Like, oh, they might be willing to, open about a trade.
Somebody's going to take it. There's not an untradeable contract. We say that every time. So somebody's
the
going to
Knicks
take it who's hungry. Yeah.
The Heat might take it. I don't know. Somebody might take it, but Boston might take it, right? I would actually consider if I'm Boston if Jaylen Brown, he's going to want to, that contract is going to be ridiculous, right? We haven't seen that, but right. Jaylen Brown, Bradley Beal, try to squeeze Kuz in there somehow, give up something, who knows? But Boston kind of lagging too because Gallinari was a pickup.
I saw a tweet earlier today about it was Celtics Twitter. So these guys are like nutcases, first of all, right? Like on Celtics Twitter, these guys are just ridiculous. You could tell they're just like local homers, right? Like mom and dad got like the union job type thing, and this guy had tweeted out, he was like, if you hate Jaylen Brown turning the ball over, I have some bad news about Bradley Beal. And if you hate Jaylen Brown's off-ball defense, I have some even worse news about Bradley Beal. And I honestly think Jaylen Brown and Bradley Beal can be on the same level. If not, Jaylen can exceed him because of his two-way potential. We have to remember, Jaylen Brown's only 27. I think Bradley Beal is in his 30s, or he might be like
Yeah.
at the tail end of his 20s, but
Yeah.
and I get the
That
whole
brother's
thing,
about
like
30.
him and Tatum have a friendship, St. Louis, go Cardinals, Albert Pujols. Like I get it, you know what I mean? But I personally, I think
Albert Pujols.
the biggest thing for Boston in the offseason is get healthy. Derek White surgery, Jason Tatum ankle, Grant Williams arm surgery, and Malcolm Brogdon with like the whole shooting arm tendon thing. So the first priority obviously is get healthy. The second thing, and there I think there's small things. My I think I have one ideal free agent signing, and that's Seth Curry. I think Seth Curry can handle the ball, space the floor, and so when a team does try to run a zone again and you stick Tatum in the middle instead of Robert Williams or Al Horford, you have Seth Curry in one of the corners kind of waiting on the opposite corner of whichever side the floor gets overloaded to. So that's like a dream free agent scenario. Does it work financially under the new CBA? I doubt it. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of teams interested in Seth Curry. So I don't expect him to settle for less. And I think that my ideal wish list offseason trade acquisition thing is, believe it or not, Kyle Kuzma. I actually think Kyle Kuzma off the bench for the Celtics with a guy like Derek White and Robert Williams running the floor, and ideally Grant Williams. Probably have to give him up in that sort of scenario along with Brogdon and some picks, but I would be willing to overpay for Kyle Kuzma if we could fit him in with whatever contract he's on right now.
Another Laker.
And
Uh,
I was just about to say that going back to what Jacob was saying, like, doesn't it kind of feel like Kyle Kuzma would be like the missing piece for this Lakers team right now? 3-and-D,
he
rebounds.
he's been added to my list, and I'll throw in a nugget that I forgot to mention about that went along with the finals, and it was that you look at the past couple of champions, the piece that they have on their team that shows itself to be pretty much the deal breaker or the X factor in the series is the two-way wing, which sounds like the one of the easier positions to fill, but who's small forward, whose guys at the three are really dynamic as well, because the league has been focused on the guards, and now we have these insane centers and 6'10" and 11 and freak athlete to go along with the guys that the league is catered around. And it's like, who has the fix for the Warriors last year was Andrew Wiggins. The fact that, like we said, when I was talking about the Lakers and the Nuggets and their series, I was like, all right, if Michael Porter Jr. is a problem, we have a problem.
Yeah.
If he's not ready to be a problem, then we might catch him. But he was enough. But it's like, all right, we got, it was the combination of him and Aaron Gordon, where it's like, all right, yeah, we've got hybrid wings that are actually good and are out there playing right now. And along with, a point guard or a backcourt guy who's incredible and a front court guy who's incredible, or either one. So Kuz is not the, he's the incredible one, but he was, for one, he was a part of that championship team, and he contributed to that championship team, and is of that fashion of, he's our swing who can also penetrate and like do the simple things in a game when we just can't be in a funk for too long. It's like, all right, can one of you big guys like go get a layup?
Yeah.
Or like a little put back or something. Oh, and you can give me a jumper. Let's go. Like, you can't leave.
Get the lid off the
You can't
basket.
play with us right now. So
Yeah.
Kuz is the glue guy, which means that he's probably getting paid this summer.
Yeah. Well, he's not a free agent, right? He can only be acquired via trade.
Or whenever he's due again. So I think
But
right now
whenever
he's
he's
up
due
for
again, he's
grabs.
getting paid.
Right. But if he's up for grabs, which I think he is he not? He has a player option. Am I wrong? But teams are going after him.
I thought he was a free agent, but you might be right, Shiv. I thought
I
Kuz was
don't know if he is.
There's one of
don't know
2
if he
years
is.
left on the contract that he signed at a very reasonable 10 to 13 million a year, which
Right.
will be probably closer to 20 on his next re-up, because
Yeah.
guys are going to bid. Teams are going to bid on this guy
Yeah.
for sure.
Because he's still young.
They actually don't come around too often. And
No.
not saying that about Kuz, but because that's, people are gonna think we're going crazy on Kuz. We're not. But we're saying that the that's why OG Anunoby was going to get multiple first round draft picks if he was moved at the deadline, and Toronto didn't for that reason. But that list is pretty thin after you get through the top swings, the Jason Tatums, the guys like LeBron, they're still there, KD, Paul George, Kawhi. Once you're not talking about them anymore, you need somebody.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, it's like, all right, hey, can you play defense on this guy at least? And like do a little bit, make him work. So Kuz is a good target. I don't think the Lakers are going to be able to pull that off. I would love it. But
I think the thing with the Lakers is the obvious upgrade that's needed is a point guard. I think Dennis Schroeder is an excellent backup point guard. Like the year he won Sixth Man of the Year in Oklahoma City, I think that was like what, 6 years ago, 5 years ago. He was backup to Russell Westbrook. I was about to say Russell Wilson, who, by the way, Jamal Murray didn't acknowledge because he stunk it up last year. But he got my boy Jerry Jeudy some clout, so I'm cool with it. But I feel like if the Lakers could just go get like a point guard that's not old. I'm not saying Dennis Schroeder is a bad option. I think he played pretty well, all things considered, in the postseason. And D'Angelo Russell really kept him afloat at critical junctures against Memphis, but those aren't reliable. Like you need a guy that's going to play throughout the regular season and develop that chemistry and that knowledge of everybody's game and tendencies. And I just feel like they need a more dynamic point guard that can stay healthy. And I don't know who that is. I don't know how you get him.
Do we need Kyrie, Jacob?
So of course, like I was telling Darrell, I would love Kyrie on the Lakers. The reason why I like kind of left him out before was I don't know if it really can happen logistically. So I don't know if the Lakers are willing to give up one of Rui or Austin Reeves to kind of make the finances work. But like it's a no-brainer if you can get Kyrie. And I don't think D'Angelo Russell was ever in the long-term plans of the Lakers anyway. It was just kind of like that filler contract when Brooklyn did that sign and trade with Golden State, so they got something in return for KD.
Deadline deal. Yeah.
Just so you don't let, dead money walk away, getting no talent back. So you hope D'Angelo, maybe you just keep D'Angelo on a team-friendly deal. You let him shine in during the regular season, and you try to flip him at some point for someone that becomes available. Man, who knows? But
he was a max guy on his last contract. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, he's getting paid, right? And Minnesota really took the bait and got rid of Wiggins.
He has 31 coming off the books this year. he was signed to a nice one. Honestly, if somebody wants to like O said, if you can get that, then you can get that bag. Then go get that bag. We'll gladly kind of fill somebody else in over here. I think Chris Paul and Kyrie is probably happening, bro. I think what's good though.
I mean, there's other point guards on the market. Like I think Terry Rozier is someone that could very easily be moved, especially when you have Scoot Henderson on the block and all these players. Like
Terry's nice.
Terry could be on the move. I think someone else, not necessarily a point guard, but I think Chris Middleton is someone that could be on the move.
Milwaukee has to shake it up. They have to
shake it up. Who knows what happens? Who knows what happens with the Clippers, right? Who knows if Paul George is someone that might be on the move? Like I doubt it, but there's gonna be some sneaky players that kind of come on the move. You got, Jeremy Grant's a free agent, Josh Hart's a free agent. Like these aren't like main guys, but these are these pieces that can kind of, like if you put Jeremy Grant on Boston, I would love that. Yeah. Like I would love that so much.
That would be really nice.
Josh Hart, dynamic. like just these players that 3-and-D play really hard, can hit an open three if they need.
Good basketball IQ in general, just like dynamic guys. LeBron thrives off that. He thrives off guys that are two-way players. Like you look at the Miami Heat teams, they had so many two-way guys. Like, the first name that comes to mind is Shane Battier, even though he was old, but like 3-and-D, two-way player. Like, oh my God, what a surprise. He thrived with LeBron and Wade, who could drive and kick and cause so much attention. That required so much attention on the offensive side of things that these guys were just freeing up. So, yeah, I mean, geez, isn't Jeremy Grant on a massive contract too?
No, like he wasn't.
He wasn't? I
It
thought
was
Portland paid him for
it
some
was
reason.
No,
4
he signed
years.
with Detroit when he was traded, but
Oh,
It
he
was
that's
just
four
wanted
right.
that
years. It was 4 years,
spotlight.
80. It was 20. It
That's
was
right.
20
That's
mil a
right.
year.
That's right.
It was mad reasonable.
Back
Yeah.
then, it was a lot. I feel like.
It was fair. It was above the mid level. But yeah, a market where it was balanced where he was getting that and Kuz was getting less than that,
Yeah.
like around 14. But that kind of, as Jake, you were listening, just some of those pieces and players that are available. I guess these are just the other two knuckleheads that I want to mention on the pod
Mm.
before we
But
get out of here too, because oh man, when have we seen guys? How many? There's been a couple. D'Angelo Russell got kicked off the Lakers for what happened with with Nick Young, and when push came to shove of whether or not they wanted to rebuild, they're like, "Yeah, let's get him out of here." And he screwed up. But how? Like guys don't get kicked off of teams too often, and I think we might have two that were the top two picks of their own draft class in Zion and John Morant, and mentioning it now, it's just like, all right, well, no, that's stupid because what team is going to send away that much marketable money and who those players are and what they mean to their cities and all of that. But I think both situations are getting really bad. And it's like, all right, bro, look, if I'm Memphis, I didn't sign up to take this season off because Ja's going to lose however many games he is. If we're also Memphis, how do we kind of embrace him coming back if there's a negative tone around everything that's going on? And with Zion, it's just gotten weird.
Mm.
Along with the health uncertainties and just like indefinite timetable, both teams can be like, all right, look, we can get at least, equivalent. We can get pennies on the dollar for what we're giving away right now. And we might still be selling short and call us crazy for giving away generational talents. But I can tell you what, you're going to get compensated in return if you're marketing, if you're offering Zion or Ja. And in conferences where we see teams make, like Sacramento, make impressive leaps, it's up for grabs if you put these talented players together correctly. And Memphis, you should have lost and saw that you needed something. Maybe just to get off a job and you go stack some incredible assets and you build a culture that's different. Or if you're New Orleans, the culture's kind of straight and they don't need Zion. So it's like, why don't we get this guy, put this situation on somebody else, and we can be a 4 seed if we play our cards right. And you know what I'm saying? They still have like 7 guys under 24 that are nice. It's like, dude, you don't have to be handcuffed
Mitch
to these
longer.
guys. If it's, I don't know, man. Am I crazy?
No, not at all. I don't think you are at all. I can't. I feel like it's hard for me to comment on the Jaw situation just because Adam Silver hasn't dropped the album yet. But like, he's got the press tour. He's got the merch. He's like teasing the snippets on his Instagram story. Um,
We're getting
but with
exactly.
Zion, dude, one, this chick is flaming him on Twitter. I think for the last like 2 days, when I get bored at work, I see a tweet about it. I'm like, let me go check her Twitter page to see like what she's tweeting about. Dude, 3 days nonstop. And now apparently there's like another girl. So and hey, I get it. Cause like we were young and we were single. And if we came into a lot of money being really good at basketball, who knows what
No,
doors or
I think
avenues
I
we
think
would have
22
explored.
specifically is Ja. I think Ja's also 22. I think
Yeah,
22 as a guy, and I can only speak on what I know and
transformational
what we've
year.
seen. Yeah, 22 is a humbling year
Very
for
much
whatever
so.
reason, for whatever wherever you are. I feel like but over the course of that year, and these brothers feeling it right now. I'm not going to hold anybody to the fire because they're
Just
doing
trying to
what
figure it
they're
out.
not they're
Like
not doing anything criminal or anything
exactly.
that
Yeah.
that we're not. that we need to amplify or put a
Right.
magnifying. That's what I don't like about. I'm not liking. I'm not going to do it right now, and I know the jokes are cool. It's not really cool how they doing Zion though. Like it's
No, it's
not
not.
really. That's not really straight, bro. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna unleash
Have
the.
you have you seen that little
I'm gonna unleash
snippet
the dragon
of
on the pod.
have you seen that video snippet? I think like Brandon Ingram and Zion weren't dressed for a game. They were hurt. And they were sitting on the bench and the
Yeah,
Pelicans
yeah,
were in a close game. And it like pans over the bench and there's like four women that, may or may not have been
I haven't
Zion.
seen this one.
Oh my God, it is so funny. And it's like now we know exactly what was going on. Or like that little snippet of Zion where it's like, oh, one of my favorite places to play is Dallas. And BI's like, why do you like Dallas, Z?
I love that one. I love that one. I
yeah,
do.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
he's just a kid. He's just a kid at the end of the day. And it feels weird to say he's a kid, me being 26, still thinking I'm a kid, but like he's just a kid. And so is Ja. So it's
I like even just throwing this stuff at the wall right now because the offseason gets really unpredictable.
Yeah.
And the Paul George, Kawhi Leonard summer, nobody saw that coming.
yeah.
I don't know if there's been as big like the KD swerve, nobody saw coming. I don't think we've had one of those. I mean, the Brooklyn era, I'm not even putting respect on because it was just a failed.
It was just a fiasco.
It was just something where like it's a trivia question if you can remember those guys like down the line or like what they did or what that was like. But hey, this stuff is not far from the realm of possibility. And a month from now, guys are going to be on new teams.
Yeah.
For real.
I mean,
Hmm.
there's no star stud free agents, so a lot of like I think people in NBA media have been speculating that like this is going to be a trade heavy summer. And who knows? It might be good for the league in all
It's going.
honesty.
I think we're going to get fireworks very
Yeah.
soon. I think the draft is going to because yeah. Then there's the reports to further substantiate that today that the Pelicans are looking to move up in the draft aggressively, and that one of my reasons why I think this, like I said, this drunk is draft. Wow, I'll add that. Like I said, this draft is drunk. There will be some moves made. New Orleans just, this kind of just giving off like an NFL draft kind of a vibe. I don't know why, but like teams are announcing that they're, trying to move up and there's teams that we don't know and what they're going to do, like Dallas. We don't know where Dallas stands at 10
Right.
and whether they're in the trade up, trade down business. And yeah, New Orleans said they would be maybe, I don't know. They're if you looking at Zion and Ja for that matter, there's not many. Zion's more open ended. He just needs to, I don't know, he might need a fresh, you know, training department to try their magic with him and see what they can do and get out of New Orleans. But I feel like Ja can't go to many places. He's got to go to places where I don't know.
Indiana.
Miami, we know that Miami's going to swing on somebody. They're going to
Yeah.
take a good swing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Miami.
probably get guys to sign for the low as well.
Yeah. I mean,
John needs a Detroit, bro. He needs a Monty Williams just kind of talking to him every day, holding him down. Someone like that. Zion, and sorry, I just want to say this real quick before we move on, that their situations are completely different. Zion and Ja, they should not be compared. Zion is getting outed for something that I'm pretty sure more than half the league is doing already, right? Like, in
Right.
all honesty, he's just like, yeah, like some
He's just
lady
on the
salty
grill.
that,
He's just on the grill right
yeah,
now.
yeah. He just didn't, one girl he didn't let sign a non-disclosure whatever agreement, and she's out here talking wild, but you know, that's not a big deal. His health is the issue, right? So you're not moving Zion because of one girl on Twitter that's like an ex, adult film actress, whatever you want to call it, is talking, dirty about him. It's because he can't stay healthy and you want to maximize some return on him while you can, right? So who knows, right? I think
Yeah.
Charlotte,
Can't keep waiting around.
LaMelo, and yeah, like Portland, somehow they get Dame for Zion. That'd be kind of cool, right? Zion, young talent. Portland with BI and those guys. Uh, or Charlotte, Scoot Henderson. to New Orleans, which they have been interested in. You get rid of Zion with LaMelo, you get some sort of return on that. Like there's options, and I think like it's really considerable that he will be moved. But yeah, I just want to throw that out there before
Yeah.
you hit on that next point.
I think that's right. I'm glad you said that because I didn't even think about that until you said it. The situations are completely different. I think one perception wise looks a little more serious than the other. And we don't know all the details with one, and we only know kind of half the details through some woman's Twitter. So yeah, with Zion's, it's just like comedic. It's like, ah man, like we've all been there. We've all had the girl that
Yeah.
dumps our dirty laundry to the friend group, and now you look like the trash dude who didn't care about her when that wasn't true, right? So that's kind of what Zion's going through. But with what Ja's going through, it feels a little more serious because you hear stories of Adam Silver being like, I don't know if his behavior can be changed. And then you hear stories of prominent celebrities who have nurtured talent, like guys like Lil Wayne reaching out, trying to mentor him, like, hey, let me
Mm-hmm.
be a positive voice in your ear. I have literally taken people at your age to very high levels of success, not even in their just profession, but like in the business world as well. And so his camp never responds allegedly. So it's like, what's going on there? Where's his head at? So yeah,
Yeah.
no, I just wanted to highlight that. I think that was a great
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, he's a
Is
knucklehead,
Adam
man. They
Silver
need
too
to
weak?
just
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, David Stern, this would not fly, bro. Carmelo, Allen Iverson, like he's talking about, I know where you live, the feds, this, that. And I feel like Adam Silver is too, he kind of just wants to be not buddy buddy with the players, but it's a more of a players league today than it was like 10, 15, 20 years ago. And what is he gonna do? Like David Stern would not have tolerated this one bit. Like he would have been out the league for the year, and that would have been it. But I feel like he's just kind of afraid to upset people in the the players association and the repercussions it would have on future you know CBA
Right.
negotiations and whatever it is. But I don't know. I just want to throw that out there. I think
yeah, no, I don't know.
I don't
This
think
is
Adam
the
Silver is tough enough, bro.
I
this is
agree
the
with that.
this is his
I
era right now. We're living in the era, so we'll kind of have to compare it to something eventually.
once it's
But
over.
that's that's my other. Now that this is out, I'm glad that you threw that out there because there was just a lot to get to, and I feel like we kind of we checked a lot of boxes, but I just thought of this one now too. Yeah, nah, bro. Something's got. I want playoff basketball where people get actually mad at each other, like a little bit though. Still, like I want somebody to shove somebody, and the game is getting away from that. Not for the wrong reasons, but it's an element that still is kind of missing. I don't know, man. Where I really wanted to go with that one, but there was a toughness or a physicality that even I was kind of missing this year. Like somebody show me something, you know what I mean? And maybe that's just because the series we didn't get a series that was just like that stamped this postseason the way it kind of went down.
But the
I,
players, the league is so young nowadays. I feel like I've talked about that on a few episodes where I'm like, the league is just so young and there's no like ingrained veterans to be like, nah, like this isn't your boy on Instagram right now. Like this is your enemy. This is like you're a hunter. You need to go after him. Like you don't have Charlie Villanueva in Cade Cunningham's ear, like preaching about Detroit basketball, right? Like toughness, grit, no friends. You know what I mean? Like these guys are all they grow up playing AAU from third grade together. And so they're all buddy buddy, like hang out, Instagram story, Snapchat, TikTok, right? Like and I know that sounds old head of me, but like it's just true. It takes away from that, like I don't know what the right word to describe it is, but it takes away from that, I guess, like aggressive
like I
mentality
don't
that like even the
yeah.
early 2000s used to have. Like guys didn't like each other. That's what made it so fun to watch. That's why you got
Or
like a really
even if
Sacramento
not,
Los
it
Angeles
was
series.
just it was just more territorial.
Yeah, that's a
Like
great way to
when
describe it.
when your team
Territorial.
came in there, Like, nah, you didn't. You're not doing my team any kind of way.
But it's hard to be
Like,
territorial in the era of player mobility.
it's a
I
lot of
mean,
it's a
was
lot at
Grant
play.
Williams and Jimmy Butler not enough for you, bro?
That's the thing. It wasn't. It
Was
definitely
Dylan Brooks
wasn't.
and LeBron not enough for you, bro?
It wasn't, bro. No.
We needed more.
Oh,
That's exactly what it is. Like, and I'm just mad that we saw this old ass LeBron on his way out,
he's
bro. That
weak.
couldn't get a bucket, dog. Like, and he still was nice, and the injury bail isn't there, bro. I can rest in my heart of hearts thinking that he, was partially hampered as well, and it
He's
might have
going
went
like this,
differently.
bro.
But
He's going like
bro,
this.
that brother, man, he can
Missed
still play.
layups.
But the team, that's why I know we need a third, bro. We definitely need a third. And Kyrie, not even just to keep circling back to it. Maybe I am hoping for it, bro, because we've seen the magic already. And you just telling me that Anthony Davis is going to pick up for LeBron's slack,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, he got me, bro.
Maybe the Lakers move off AD this summer.
I don't think so. I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think they need to. Yeah, you don't need to yet because, like, our Team USA big talk, there ain't many of those guys in the league. Like, we still can use a great big, like, you need you. That's a domino. That's how they won a championship. It was a team that had size.
You're right.
How much of LeBron's postseason performance was him aging versus it just being his ankle was bad? Because I had to cope because I was never really a LeBron fan,
Mm-hmm.
Laker fan, of course. I was like, anytime LeBron is great, I'm like, all right, good. Like he's supposed, he's LeBron, he's supposed to play well. But when he's poop, I'm like, man, what the hell is he doing, bro? Like he's on his butt, he's on the Lakers, he's supposed to be amazing, and we have all this hype, and we trade away draft picks for LeBron, and can't make a layup. But his ankle was hurt, right? So
The
maybe he
foot,
just needs to get healthy in the during the off season, make a couple of adjustments, and come back and get stronger.
they're the team that, the Heat kind of fell harder by making it to the finals, but they're the team that, like, really pulled, a rabbit out of their butt at the end of the semester and, like, whipped out like a B+
Yeah.
when they were, like, doing bad the entire time.
Yeah.
Because the way if they weren't in a situation where they were already sinking by the All-Star break and by mid-season and had to go into must-win mode from January, that's what added to the stress that added, onto his body and the entire team not figuring it out until they did along the way, but not having enough to make the finals championship run because they weren't deep enough, able to just withstand enough. And yeah, I think he was. I think it was a good 30%. Like he was. It was a good, like, we didn't get the perfect play in my head is, remember, he got that steal and at the end of one of those Nuggets games, and he went in the corner and kind of punk fake drove to the basket. They had a chance to stay alive, and you see this reverse layup, and it's like, all right, well, LeBron doesn't really lay those up. If he can't, like,
Yeah, man.
he looked like he didn't know what to do right there, and that's at the end of the postseason push. It is what it is. They got cooked, but yeah, they need pieces to just kind of reinforce what they have so you can manage correctly and the ship isn't sinking by January. It's not a recipe to make the conference finals.
I feel like that
We
was
would
a
have lost in the
very
first round if we played Denver. Like I think it's a game of they did pull a bunny out of whatever, like you said, like, and they got lucky, got a B+.
Yeah,
But
no,
like,
that's right. That's right. Because what, they went 7-2 instead of 8-1.
yeah, like if they went 8-1, you're losing Denver first round. Everyone's talking about the Lakers season as like, yeah, whatever. But like, you play a Memphis team that is struggling, obviously, and that whole jaw situation is playing on them. Then you play Golden State, which, they're not the same team that they were 2 years ago. Last year, they won, but nobody really
You
expected it
think you
this
think
year.
Denver? You guys both think Denver would have beat Golden State?
yes.
100%.
Yes. Even though I
I don't know
picked the
that match.
Warriors to win, I think Denver would have beaten them.
Yeah, Denver wasn't losing this year, bro.
You think Denver would have beat them in what?
6?
6.
Yeah.
Stop it.
I think Steph gets them too because Steph, like when Steph gets hot, like no one can guard him. Like no one can guard him. I've seen it too many times. He's done it to me.
I wish we would have gotten that maybe, but they got the team. They beat the team that beat them. So yeah, they proved it. They proved it, bro. It's no disputing it.
I think
They
the
did.
statement that you said earlier about how it's just like there's a couple pieces like is a very it's very poignant because I feel like this whole like episode has just been talking about like pieces to the puzzle for like Team USA, pieces to the puzzle for like our favorite teams, like pieces to the puzzle of the mystery of like Ja and Zion. So it's like yeah, like it's just trying to
I,
put the puzzle together.
it's a great stamp in where we are right now because I kid you, we all know this how the offseason gets. In 3 weeks, it's going to be
Mayhem.
in 3 weeks we'll have the draft in the books. We'll have the starter free agency in the books, and we'll be on the cusp of summer league, and some trades will go down, and we'll see if we nailed anything, along the way. But it's interesting. I won't hold you brothers much longer. That was that was what we wanted to do. We got a new voice on the pod, and that's a good feeling.
Appreciate you guys, man. Have me on. But yeah, I mean, I think there's gonna be one name that's gonna be moved that we haven't mentioned and that nobody is expecting. I
Oh,
think we
you
just gotta
say
wait and see.
that's for
But I think
last. Oh, okay. That's your statement. I thought you were about to drop another. I was like, wait, why didn't you mention it?
no. That's just my little cliffhanger because and that's how I want to leave like my last kind of word on the pod. But
There
I
we
think there's
go.
gonna be one move that's huge, whether it's Paul George, whether it's Middleton, whether it's like Zion, somebody just huge. I mean, these are kind of expected, but and I think once one domino kind of goes down, then everything is gonna flip, right? If
Yeah.
Kyrie goes to Miami or if Dame goes to Miami, Kyle Lowry's getting moved. Everybody's gonna be kind of revolving around these different
Yeah.
doors. So
No,
it's
there's
gonna
gonna
be
be some wheeling and dealing.
yes, sir.
I'm
This is
excited
when
for it.
this is when teams get the froggiest.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right then, fellas. That was a good one. We will be back at you on this platform soon enough. Don't forget to like and follow us on whatever platform you're listening to. We appreciate you for listening, as always. And that's all, folks. Till next time.
Peace.